bottom right side of the map. We are going to start off this next best of three. The semifinals now. Two best of threes away from qualifying. In the bottom right is the red Protoss player Parting, taking on the blue Terran in the top left. This is Maru. So, Maru, Parting, best of three. Game number one. As we get this ready to go. I mean, the thing is in this series coming out, so we just watched Maru versus Trap. This time, I mean, the Protoss has nothing to lose. Like, literally, you have nothing to lose here as Parting, right? Well, you cannot qualify, but you don't have anything to hide. You don't have anything to give away. This is probably the biggest event coming up for you as Parting in the near future, apart from next season of GSL Super Tournament and stuff. So this is kind of it, you know, Parting. Time to deliver. Time to show us what you got. Parting's typically been a tricky opponent for Maru in the past. My favorite game of theirs in more recent times was absolutely the series that they played, or the one map they played in that War Chest Team League. I know that was, what, 8 months ago now, but that map, it started off, it was on Deathor, and it was the typical, you start off with a proxy gate. It's like, okay, a proxy gate. And from the proxy gate, we go into this 40-minute game with nukes and everything, and it was just a beautiful game to get to witness. I was observing that one. It was so good I observed it live for the tournament, because I was doing the production for that event while the other guys were casting. And then I actually said, you know what, it was so good, I'm just going to cast it myself. So I gave it a couple of days and then went and casted it myself for YouTube. It was a lot of fun. It was a great map of StarCraft 2. But yes, Maru Parting here, and Parting has been a very aggressive Protoss player lately. He made it to the finals of yesterday's qualifier, lost out to time while trying to crank out some aggressive proxy void rays and all that kind of stuff, proxy gates and so on. He's been loving this proxy gate build. So you proxy a gate up, you go into a decent adept count, get some stalkers out as well. Maru is not gonna see. Oh, he is gonna see it because he turns around for just about though. So Maru will see the gateway. If he's paying attention, he's still rallying around as though, okay, now he knows he's seen it. Okay, he's definitely seen it. Just had to make sure for him because it was kind of rallying as though he hadn't seen it still. Like he went to the top right, but and it shows up, sees it's a gate. I think he already knew it was a gate. And is just going to get these Marines back because the first adept from across the map is already coming over. Marines get to the high ground. No Reaper here, so you get a pretty good Marine count right away. You need a bunker against this. He's got a bunker, of course. And that means he's set up well. Now, again, typically you go into like a good few adepts and a few stalkers and you go for like a big attack off these two gates early. Let's see if Parting wants to do that here or if he has different plans. As Maru just has his factory up, starboard coming in. What's the factory going to go for? Just a tank right from the start. So yeah, here come the 5 adepts. And then you probably usually, like I say, warp in stalkers behind this, I think. And there's the adepts. If they want to commit, they can commit behind this mineral line. That's where the tank's going to be very important, giving you a bit of range on your defense. Rather than just having the Marines, which again, Marines don't really want to fight here because these adepts are pretty good against Marines. Especially in low numbers like this when they're going to hit 3 shots on Marines, and Marines just start to evaporate very quickly. Adept's actually going to commit in with the Stalkers on the other side. The tank's going to siege from afar, so it's going to have coverage from the high ground. The bunker looks like it will go down, though. Maru's going to give that bunker up. Well, he doesn't really give it up. He's forced to give it up. And it's going to bring the tank down to the low ground a little bit, though. Can the units get on top of that tank and do anything about it? Not really just yet, as 5 SCVs have fallen. Remember that to do this, Parting does have to delay his own tech a lot. So you can see his own Twilight Counselors quite far off from finishing here for, you know, what time it is in the game. We are repairing this CC very slowly as his Stalker's still in range. This tank might have to take another step forward. This Mule might have to join to repair. Another tank coming in. Command Center lifts. I guess it can just back off like that for a moment or two. And there are the Stalkers recall. Now, this time the Adept recalls out again. And I say this time because yesterday the Adept actually didn't recall out. The Adepts, there was 2 Adepts and they actually stuck around. So just referring to yesterday's games, I believe it was on this map against Time. Anyway, that's going to be a defense from Maru in the end. But 13 workers down. He's definitely in slowed here. Like I said, the biggest issue for Parting right now is the fact that he has such a late blink. So his tech is behind, and so does that give Maru a chance to deal some damage and to get a fight that will make up for some of the workers that he's ended up losing in this early game? That's what we're looking to find out now. There's a wall off. Well, Engineering Bay is going to be taken down at the front. Third CC start from Maru. Looks like he's not too bothered about. He could push with Marine Tank Raven. He could push. Problem is, if he pushes, I mean, Blink is now going to be done. I guess there's no charge for a while as well, so I still wouldn't hate it if he attacked. I think he's worried about what Parton might have just outside of his base, though. I don't think Maru is in any rush to try and move out here if he can avoid it. Adept Shades, friendly fire onto a Marine, thanks to the siege tank. Pushing through, Depot taking a few shots, so being denied a little bit, nothing too crazy out of that. Another Depot gonna go down. Completing this wall off for the moment. Once again, the SCV gets sniped down. This Observer is going to move up. And charge now on the way. So Parton is just going to get away with the lead in this game, I think. At the end of it all, he's just been ahead on workers this entire time. The income is in his favor. And he's on to Zealot Stalker and on his way to Storm as well. This style's coming back a little bit in PvT. We've been watching a lot of Colossus-focused PvT lately, but this faster Storm has absolutely been making a stand in the matchup a little more frequently, so excited to see that. It's good because I felt like DVP really had just settled down into you play Blink Stalkers, you go into Colossus, you build Disruptors. And now that style changes up a little bit, back to the Storm a little bit. It's something else to mix in. It keeps the Terran on their toes. Keeps us interested as well. Not that DVP was boring, because there was a few different ways to play it, and there was definitely, you can also open Stargate. But I always feel like variety is good for the game, and it's going to bring some variety back into the meta, as that's going to be a dead siege tank. And these other tanks, oh my god, 2 dead siege tanks. What a blinking from Parting. Wow. That is massive. Just blink, tank. Thank you very much. I'll see you later. Medevac as well before he blinks out. 1 Stalker down for all of that. Sure, we'll take that trade any day of the week. Now, 3rd CC is looking to move out from Maru. I mean, that's typically his next move here, to push down towards that 3rd, as this time the tank siege and the Stalkers are going to get pushed away from this. Man, Darius is still on 3 siege tanks. He had just such a high tank count in this game in general. He's going to go blink on top of the tanks again, as Maru's on the low ground, so he's not actually in position to defend his main. He lifted up because I think he wanted to drop into the main. He's realizing that maybe isn't looking like such a great idea. His Raven goes down. Extra Zealots warping in here. Maru is 1-1 against 1-0 if he can actually take a fight, but that's the problem. He's actually got to find a way to take the fight. Parton with the Prism and the Stalker Blink is going to find Maru. I mean, he's going to kind of force Maru out of position more than anything, really. And Marauder stepping forward, going to maybe catch one more Stalker. I mean, the tank count for Maru is just about to complement the fact he's still on 3 siege tanks. Is, amazing stuff. And then, boom, the tanks are just gone. I was going to say, imagine he hadn't lost the first 2. He's on 5 tanks. That's a hell of a deadly push you got coming across the map. Well, now this Prism, second Prism of the game, actually has TIE Templar inside of it, so HD's ready to storm. I'm not feeling good for Maru at the moment, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. He kills the Prism, 2 TIE Templars still inside. He ate a pretty huge storm to be able to make that happen, though, as Pine trying to poke at the ram, trying to push on through here. Marauder goes down the Marine as well. This High Templar gets picked, as Stalkers will set up a Widowmine blinking away. The second Prism is into the main base. Found a way around these turrets and just got in anyway, and making Maru's life difficult once again. Stop from mining over here, having to trade out slowly against these Zealots. And again, a lot of A lot of positives right now from Parton in this game. Fourth base is up for him, +2, +1 on the way, and he's ready to switch into the Robo. The biggest loss for Parton really was just losing out in the Prism and the Storms. It just takes a little while to rebuild back up into, and that was one of his main... That was his form of splash damage for dealing with the larger army, so... Big loss to lose that. What does Maru do? Ghost Academy. I'm more talking about what does Maru do in terms of, like, overall in this game. Like, does he sit on 3 bases and just try and do some kind of one big push, but... Does that really work when you've taken so much damage? Do you play 4 bases? It is romanticized. You could play a very slow, camped out kind of game. 4th CC does start. Prism denied in the main, doesn't get the warp enough. I think you play a very slow 4 base game slowly into 5, and you just try and let Parton attack into you. You don't really attack yourself, and that obviously gives Parton the chance to macro up massively if he wants to. But Parton is a very aggressive player. It is very possible that Parton ends up overcommitting to some fights if, you know, stuff like that happens. So, possibilities here, guys. Possibilities. Zealots warp in, and they're going to make their way through the top side. To attack on forward, these Lions backing away. A couple Widowmine shots are perfect onto the Zealots, and they will soften them up a lot, and that's going to give Maru the easy cleanup. So, Zealots is going down here, and that's where Maru is going to find quite a bit of efficiency in this game, catching units like that. Excuse me, my throat was going dry. It still is. I don't have enough water for this series, I'm not going to lie with you. Lie with you? Lie to you. Lie down together if you guys want. I mean, it's a bit forward, but... Okay, Ghost coming through. Again, that 4th CC is done. It's going to morph into an orbital. He's going to build a 5th CC. And like I say, free reign to Parton to do as he wishes. And I like what Parton's deciding to do. He ain't just attacking in, being like, I can end this. He's taking his time. He's going to back it up. He's going to slowly build into a fleet beacon, more Stargates. He's actually going to set up into Carrier Disruptor. It's a very different style, or very difficult style for Maru to fight here. Just in forward, just going to be seeing another storm. It doesn't quite connect. And is there any more storms left? There is not actually storms remaining just now, as Maru's main goal is just to land the 4th. Prism. Oh no, he missed the target fire. If he target fired the Prism, this warping doesn't actually go off, and that's a big cancel. As it stands, Parton gets a lot of Zealots, and maybe he didn't want to cancel it, because actually, yeah, he does lose 12 SCVs. I was going to say, he's actually cleaning it up pretty easily, but then 12 SCVs is pretty expensive. Oh no, what happened here? Disruptors show up. Looks like they killed 3 ghosts. This Disruptor has 10 kills, so maybe more than just that. Nice Disruptor shot going to force a lift up as Maru. He came down to his 4th base, and he's going to pay for it. Now he's going to have another Disruptor shot picking off a Ghost and trying to make his way forward here, trying to make some plays. But the Disruptors are just going to keep him pinned back, and Parton just has too much of a lead this game. That early game was so good for Parton, and obviously Maru's not being able to do anything from it, and that's why he did just not move out. He just sat at home, let this play out very slowly overall. It's going to be GG, and it is going to be Parton to pick up map 1 of this best of 3. It's going to happen. So it's good to see Parton able to capitalize on his lead, because at the end of the day, not a lot of people do that. Even when they get an advantage against Maru, they sometimes let it slip. As in the bottom left, the Red Protoss player is Parton up 1-0 in this best of 3. And the top right wasn't allowed to actually get set up into his late game, which he attempted at the end there. It is Maru, our Blue Terran from Team NV. $2,000 atmospheres, so Romanticide 2000. I mean, we're really seeing all of the we've really seen all of the larger maps here, like what I would call more macro focus maps. standard. You can get 3 bases pretty easy. 4 base isn't really a difficult thing. Maps that don't really promote a lot of early pushing and a lot of early attacking. From the Terran side, at least, as a Protoss, you just warp in anyway. You don't really care, but well, that's not completely true. Obviously, once you get Colossi up and stuff, it matters, but the way Parting likes to play a lot of the time, whatever. Okay, well, Parting's going to proxy Void Ray. This is something else he's been doing a lot of lately. Now it's going to come down, just see the Stargate building. But we've seen this happen before. This happened yesterday. We saw people scouting the Stargate, and they still just die to this. It's a very, very tight build where if you just respond a little incorrectly, you lose a unit too many, or anything along those lines, you can end up in a lot of trouble really quick. So the defense has to be correct here. One of the big things that happened for Time yesterday when he defended this the second time was really just perfect bunker placement. Let's see what the, let's see how this goes. This bunker right now, it covers the depots. Can you repair the SCVs? Oh, can you keep the SCVs safe against the voids, I guess, the question. What's going to be having? Our Void Ray about to pop out. 2 batteries on this low ground, so he's going to really direct his attacks from this location, not going to go in from the natural or anything, so he's going to come from here. For the moment, he's going to go over this way, but he doesn't find any units. There is a bunker there. He does already have to pull back to that battery. Just gets a little top up on the shields. As we'll continue to look for a little more right now. That makes its way up the ramp. Void Ray is going to activate. First two are going to go down. One of the big things here is making sure the supply block is minimal, but yeah, Maru had plenty of supply for the moment, so no issue just yet. This depot shouldn't go down because the bunker should cover the SCVs here. Unless the Void Rays go up the top side, in which case the Cyclone has a good time because, hey, then the Void Rays aren't next to their batteries. Fine, very quick to transition. Straight to the Nexus, straight to Twilight and Blink. So this is really looking to hold the Terran back on one base as long as possible and just switch yourself as quickly as you can. Now, of course, this is a scenario where there's only 2 Voids as well, so Parting didn't even build a 3rd Void Ray. And that is a little different than usual, so he's teching and expanding even faster than what he usually would with this attack. Still an investment, still 2 Voids, he had to build batteries as well. But for the moment, we've got a 1-base Maru. It is about to have Magfield, and Magfield makes a pretty big difference. Magfield helps a lot against the Voids, and Magfield will also be great against the Stalkers once they are out on the map, so Magfield is a pretty good upgrade to have as the starport built right in the back. Gonna give you a medevac here, and well, gonna actually load up the Marines. Just gonna leave the Cyclones to defend. He realizes, I think, that this Void Ray count ain't getting any higher. And there's no warp gate yet, so at the moment, not a lot of units that can warp in. The Marine drop across the map can do very well as Magfield kicks in. That's a dead Void Ray. Shield batteries don't do enough against double Magfield lock-ons. They're pretty powerful. Now look at Parting going to build a gate over there. Meanwhile, Maru's just unloading in Parting's main base. Parting finally sees this, but warp gate isn't done, so what are you even going to do, Maru? Just going to go for probes? I don't mind him going for this pylon. Yeah, I guess pylon's a risky one. You don't know how many units are about to show up. The probes are guaranteed kills, and at the moment he's guaranteeing himself a lot of them. 10, 11 workers, 12 workers going down. There's a couple of Marines left as the Stalker backs away. At the same time, Maru's Cyclones have broken out the front, so they're taking down all those batteries, taking down this pylon, the Stargate now. Maru has, honestly, he's handled this very well. Expanding himself, he's taking a serious worker lead. The counter drop is a big part of this, right? Because Dropping across the map like that when Parting has got a delayed warp gate, etc., really just allows you kind of guaranteed damage, and that's the damage that's really just going to stop Parting's 2-base setup from early in the game being any, really any effect at all. And now what's Parting doing? 4 gates? He's just going to go for this with 4 gates of Stalkers, but, I mean, there's tanks, there's Cyclones with Magfield, there's just no way Stalkers are going to make much difference here. Yeah, Parting is not making probes. He's completely committed to a 25 probe attack now, where he's going to use this Void Ray for high ground vision. Blinks up. Tank is here. Cyclone locked on for a moment or so. There's 2 other Cyclones that can lock on, and again, they're also going to chunk down Stalkers. Power of the Magfield it's good against the Void, and it's good against the Stalkers as well, so it's good in both aspects. The Void Ray is going to get taken down. The Cyclone's still pushing forward. Another lock on. Stalker's just blinking back, putting their blink to use, but and what they're going to do, they're going to actually get out of here? Probably not, right? Blinking down, he's just losing way too much. Parting knows it. Didn't make workers behind this. He knows this one's over, and Maru's going to tie us up 1-1. Otherwise, let's dive on into this game. I want to say thank you to VipNet for the 13-month resub. Thank you very much for that. And with that, we'll go into game number 2. In the bottom left-hand side, you have the red Protoss player. On the first map, too aggressive with an attack that didn't work in the second. It is at the bottom left, the red Protoss parting. Well, there goes my drink. Oh, yikes. Remember when I said I didn't have enough water for this series? Well, now I definitely don't have enough water for this series. But it's okay, I've got nice wet feet. Oh, I tried to do such an epic catch on the glass as well, and it slipped from my fingertips. Fortunately, I have a rug beneath me, so it hit the rug and didn't smash before it skidded across the entire floor. My goodness, sorry guys. I was just trying to have a drink and decided to basically attack my... I don't even know what I did, I just whacked the glass, I guess. Ay, ay, ay. Alright guys, my bad, sorry. Didn't mean to make weird sounds. An Engineering Bay block to start us off here as Maru, as he's going to scout up into the main. So Engineering Bay block is going to mean that he's going to go for a factory first. He should generally go for a factory first opener. He does put the SCV onto the low ground, but he's going to have the gas for a factory in a second, so there's no way he expands before factory here, right? Right? He's going to go reactor, so that's going to be some of his gas. Maybe he does expand before factory. Usually with the Engineering Bay, the whole point is you delay the Nexus and stuff, and you take this as a chance to go into the factory, and then you go for the CC yourself, because obviously the Engineering Bay is an investment that slows down the minerals. I guess because the Engineering Bay gets dealt with quickly, maybe it is worth to go into the CC before factory. We'll just bunker up at the front as we have got the factory now on the way. So defense looking good. Oxide as a map typically is a pretty nice Terran map. You know, you get into a position where you can obviously push a lot of the tank attack, put a lot of the tank attacks forward very quickly, hit the third base early. Not sure how much that matters against Parting as he opens Twilight. For the moment, at least. Robo on the way up. Twilight coming through, so this one maybe is potentially going to be that 4-gate Blinkerino. That or Dark Shrine. Button is pretty happy to go DTs a lot of the time. Just going to go Blink. He's going to start Chrono Boost, and you're going to need a lot of Chronos on that Blink to make up for the fact that you go Robo first. Yeah, we're just going to go up into our... the moment 3 gateways of production. Marine's currently moving forward. We are seeing a medevac on the way out, and there's already a tank out as well. Now a second tank building. Arrow has his depots raised for the Adept, but that's blocking a couple of his SCVs from moving down to the low ground, unfortunately. Now that's fixed, but Mario's already pushing onto the map. Mario's goal here is obviously to get a push going and an attack working before Blink is done. You've got to hit before Blink, because the moment Blink is done, this is going to be much more difficult to do anything with. As he comes on through now, there's no third base. Do you still want to go for this? He pulled SCV, so I imagine you do. I mean, there must be a plan for when there's no third here that this still works. Otherwise, you're just banking on the fact your opponent goes Blink third base, which obviously isn't great. The SCV's repairing the tank up, and the tank going to start hitting those Stalkers. High ground vision is provided by the medevac. That Stalker is stuck, and even the Super Battery not able to save it. Super Battery, which is going to fade soon. And that's going to make life a little bit more difficult here for Harding. Now that his Super Battery is gone, he's got to be a bit more careful. There's one Stalker just sat there eating tank shots, and that's going to waste the rest of this battery energy. Robo facility is actually starting to go down. The tank should target the Robo as well, maybe? No? Okay, he didn't need it. Fair enough, good call. Parton's about to have Blink. This is the moment. He's going to Blink on top of those tanks if he's ever going to make a move here. Pretty much has to be a tank Blink, right? But Marrow's going to take down both of these gateways. Okay, Parton's going to go and shut down reinforcements. I actually like this move more than just blinking on top of the tanks straight up. And now he's going to blink on top of the tanks. Mario was not really back here just yet, but he does pretty well. He kills a bunch of these Stalkers off. He's still building the bunkers. I mean, the damage is already done. He's cleaned out 2 gateways and so much more beyond it. He's getting on top of some probes now. So he killed 2 gates, a Robo. He's killed multiple Stalkers. He's going to blink into the main. Sorry, boost into the main as the blink after the medevac is not quite enough to catch it. Probes are going to have to pull from the main base as well. And he's killed as many probes as he brought SCVs for this fight too, so I'd say that's probably a pretty good summary which favors Maru. That CC behind this point has quite literally gateways. He doesn't have a Robo. He actually can't build anything, right? He's got 2 observers and Stalker production. He is building more probes. He's not just going to fully commit to this attack without probes behind it, but he's going to have to rebuild tech at some stage, no? At some point, you're going to have to build some actual tech here. So he's going to press up. They blink in towards the initial depot bunker. It's going to go down. SCV's kind of just wanted to move out and just going to be seeing a few of them going down. I mean, the thing is, this is just, to me, Stalker pressure that has no follow-up. I just don't know where we're going from here, right? This is, like I say, there's no Robo. There's just nothing. No Forge. There is now. Robo, Forge, Temple Archives. Farn's like, maybe tech is good, so I'll get all of it at once. Maybe he was on a tech diet and he's just caved. Yeah. That's pretty rough though. That's an observer that gets picked off. It's a blink for a siege tank, but it's a pretty nasty blink because he doesn't even one-shot the tank right away. The depots in front of that tank, I mean, that's why the depots are there, to make it difficult for the Stalkers to kind of actually get on top and 2 one-shots. Obviously, you should be able to blink out of this as Parton as well, as we're kind of dancing. Parton doing some reasonable damage. Honestly, I was kind of doubtful about the lack of tech, but the follow-up here has not been that bad for Parton, right? Like, it's doing better than I thought he would. I mean, from the damage Maru dealt earlier, I thought this game was kind of a done one. I thought this was a sealed deal. And we were just kind of moving on already, but apparently not. Of Widow Mines going to be building, as you have Medevac loaded up a few units. Here's the next question, I guess. As the upgrades kick in from Maori, he takes the 3rd CC into location. Does Parton have a way to deal with these bio upgrades on the other side? He's trying to buy some time. He knows what he wants to do. Parton knows what Mario wants to do against this as well, try and drop up into the main. Well, the tanks were left on the low ground, so these tanks are kind of all alone. The Stalkers are going to get auto-turreted to try and help get rid of them. And these Stalkers are taking a beating. The tank fire is massive. Maru lost 2 tanks, but Parting lost so many Stalkers. The idea was good. I don't disagree. You probably needed to buy time. But that was a lot of losses in the end. I think, like I say, good idea. Execution just wasn't quite there. Recalls these 2 Stalkers, needs anything possible back at home right now to help him defend. As this Bioforce starts to push into the front. In we go. A couple of Widow Mines going off, a couple of these Zealots going down. There's just no way. Maru's going to have too much. Storm comes in. Change the day, save the day. Not quite. It made a difference for a moment, but that's about it. The Zargon goes down, Super Battery's gone, and Maru's just still on top of this army. And a few Zealots are going to warp in a game, but the Widow Mines are going to burrow, and I mean, all you need is the Widow Mines to... Oh my god, he's going to splash onto the Prism. The Widow Mines soften up the Zealots enough, and Maru recovers from the 1-0 deficit to start. Going to turn this into a 2-1 victory. Maru is going to go the distance into the finals, and we've got a Zest waiting for him to see if Maru can qualify for the next tournament.